Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to my channel. Today, guys, I'm going to share my story of sobriety with you. This is a question that I get asked a lot in person and online, is how the hell did you get sober? Now, for anybody who hasn't watched my story over on my channel, please feel free to do so. There you're going to learn and understand that I had a very severe drug addiction problem to cocaine. I was unable to maintain any form of sobriety whatsoever, and the last few years of my addiction were very, very extreme indeed. Now, the whole purpose of my channel, guys, I've said a million times, is just to help people. Help people who maybe want to go sober, and of course deter people from ever using drugs in the first place. So there's no BS from me, guys. Everything I tell you is based on my own knowledge and my own experience in the world of addiction. So straight off the bat, guys, I want to tell you there is no easy, straightforward answer to achieving sobriety, okay? If you are truly addicted to a substance like cocaine, sobriety is going to take discipline, it's going to take hard work, it's going to require knowledge, and it's going to take a ton of motivation, okay? That is the truth. Now, for me personally, guys, sobriety is something I battled with for nearly 10 years. It was in 2009 I first recognized that I had a problem with drugs, but it wasn't until 2019 where I actually started to take constructive action in order to achieve sobriety. Now, why did it take so long? Well, in 2009, I didn't put any effort into achieving sobriety. This is the truth. If you want to achieve sobriety, it's not just going to fall on your lap, okay? You need to take action. You need to take the correct action, okay? This is something that is absolutely essential. The questions I get constantly is, how do you get off it? How do you stay off it? Don't you get bored? And what do you do for fun? All these types of questions are going to come into your head once you're thinking about going into sobriety, okay? And I'm going to address those all for you. So straight away, guys, for me, the fun stopped many, many years ago. I hated the stuff. I still do hate the stuff. I knew what it was doing to me, my family, and my friends. It stripped me bare. Cocaine stripped me bare of everything I ever had, okay? On multiple occasions. Every time I did it, I regretted it, yet I still continue to use. This is the power of addiction. For me, guys, all I ever wanted was to get back control of my life, okay? Be able to manage my money, be able to manage my job, and my relationships, okay? This is something that 80 to 90% of people take for granted, okay? When you are an addict, you know you are vulnerable. You are vulnerable to relapse. Anything good you have going in your life, you know there's a chance you could ruin it, okay? This is something that I lived with for many years, okay? Addiction is not a nice thing to live with, and there needs to be more done and more awareness on this. So then, guys, it was in 2019 I made the decision enough was enough. Drugs were single-handedly ruining my life. They already had ruined a large portion of my life and were going to continue to ruin the rest of my life unless I did something about it, okay? I needed to get a grip of the situation, and a grip of the situation fast. Every time I was using, I was risking my life. The level of my addiction was very, very extreme, and this was not going to end well. Now, after visiting the doctors on numerous occasions in England, there was a time in particular whereby I knew this was down to me. I basically rang the doctors and said, look, I need help. I've relapsed again really bad. What am I going to do? And the doctor said to me, and I still remember it to this day, she said, Mark, I've explained to you the situation. There is a 2-year waiting list to get into rehab via the NHS in England. She said to me, Mark, if I could put you there now, I would, but there is no fast track available. Now, for me personally, I knew from this moment, this is down to me. Nobody's going to do this for me. I need to take responsibility for the situation I am in, and this is exactly what I did. And this is a key important note for you and a good tip. You need to accept the situation you're in, no matter how bad it is, okay? Now, the quicker you accept your situation, the better. There is no point blaming anybody. There is no point having grudges. The situation you're in is ultimately, it's your responsibility, okay? You were the one, like myself, who decided at first to put the drugs in you, or the alcohol, whatever it may be. Of course, you did not want it to lead to an addiction and a serious problem, but it has. So ultimately, you are responsible. No one is going to do this for you. You need to suck it up. And that's exactly what I did. Very quickly, I turned it into a more positive mindset. Right, this is down to me. Nobody's going to do it for me. Let's get on with it. And that's exactly what I did. After that conversation with the doctor, I basically became obsessed with trying to get sober. I channeled my addictive, obsessive mind into recovery, okay? This became my goal. It was my mission, and I was highly, highly motivated to get this done. There was no way I wanted to let that junk control the rest of my life. No way. So I immersed myself. This was my approach. I immersed myself in the recovery, sobriety lifestyle. And here is 5 things that I did that may be able to help you. Okay, so the first thing I did, guys, after my conversation with the doctor, I managed to obtain counselling sessions. Now, I obtained drug counselling sessions in Bristol for free with a drug addiction specialist. In these counselling sessions, I learned everything related to drug addiction, including the cycle of addiction, the cravings, the triggers, how to cope with urges, and everything related to drug addiction, okay? Now, I learned a lot in my counselling sessions. Every time I came away from it, I was like, wow, that was a great session. I was literally building as much knowledge as I can on addiction. I am very grateful for my counselling sessions. They helped me a lot. Now, counselling is something that many people say, oh, sod that, I'm not doing that. But the truth of the matter is, guys, this is about getting your life back. You need to do whatever it takes, okay? Now, if you're motivated and you have the desire to learn, counselling is great. It's really effective. I learned a lot. There is no way I would be where I am today without it. I'm very thankful for it, and I'm thankful for the person who gave me it. So I had 2 sessions per week. I highly recommend you to do that. Okay, guys, so the second thing I did in order to start this recovery immersion lifestyle is I attended SMART recovery meetings, okay? Now, SMART recovery is not AA or CA meetings, okay? I tried the CA, AA meetings, did not get on with it, did not like the steps approach, but that doesn't mean it won't work for you, okay? I know some very, very successful cases to come out of CA and AA, so I would still highly recommend that you try that. Because it doesn't work for me doesn't mean it won't work for you, okay? So as I said, it's about getting your life back, and you need to try everything in your power. Now, SMART recovery is slightly different. Excuse me. SMART recovery is also group based, but it's very different. They teach you in the groups about coping with cravings, with urges. They teach you techniques on how to deal with addiction. They give you lots of exercises you can do, and you can buy a handbook. I still have it here. You can buy a handbook which gives you tools to help you in your recovery process, especially in the early stages. These are very, very effective. Now, you can do SMART recovery meetings online. I believe they're still in person as well. I did 2 meetings per week. I would highly recommend you to try one of these, whether it's AA, CA, or SMART recovery. I preferred the SMART recovery, but I would certainly recommend it. Many people like to have the group community thing. It means you can offload in privacy. You're with people in the same situation. So it can be very, very effective way to help you in your recovery process. So I would highly recommend picking one of those things, one of the meetings, and go with that. Okay, guys, the third thing I did in order to help me in this lifestyle, this immersion lifestyle which I created, is knowledge. Now, I started to study addiction, okay? I'm still studying it today. I read books, articles, watched dozens of lectures and documentaries on addiction. For me personally, the subject of addiction is fascinating. I'm living with it. My theory was, why not try to understand it? This can only help you. Knowledge is power. Obtaining as much knowledge as possible for me became very, very important. Okay, I became very obsessive with this subject. I would recommend it. I would certainly recommend trying to understand what it is you're going through. I did many courses. I've done my counselling level 2. I've done drug and alcohol awareness courses, substance abuse courses, all these types of things. Now, you may not like it, but for me, it was all about learning what I was going through. It was like, right, I've got this problem. I want to understand it. And that's exactly what I did. I spent hours and hours and hours reading, writing, listening about addiction. And for me, it really, really is a fascinating subject, okay? So I would recommend building up your knowledge, understand what it is you're going through. You can then use that to help apply to your problem. For me, I think this speeds up the process, okay? So number 3 is knowledge. Okay, guys, number 4 is pen to paper. Very, very effective method for logging your thoughts, your thinking patterns, and helping you to remember. Now, I started writing on addiction, as I just said. In my early days of recovery, I would carry a notepad in my bag. I would write an addiction journal. I still write an addiction journal today. I also do gratitude lists on a daily basis. And I also do various exercises, far more in the beginning stages, which you can learn about all from the handbook I told you about. But there are many exercises you can do. Now, why do I do this? Now, addiction is for life, guys. This is for life. My problem is for life. I'm not going to be able to drink alcohol again. I don't want to drink alcohol again. Helping you to remember the goal, especially in the early days we're talking about here. Remembering the goal, the reasons why you're doing this, and staying in tune with yourself constantly. Very, very, very important indeed. After you may get 2, 3, 4 weeks into recovery, you may start to slack off. You might start to think, I'm okay now. This is a schoolboy error. I did this many times. You get to a certain point, you think you're okay, you stop doing the work, you can potentially relapse. Okay, I did this at the start. Okay, keeping in tune with yourself is very, very important, and using pen to paper, in my opinion, is the most effective way. I can take last night, for example. I have lots of good stuff going on in my life right now, potential to move, etc. So I write down everything in my notebook. This is my notebook right now. Got this in Mexico. It's actually in my Life in Recovery video, will be. And I write everything down. So I write down all my goals, my plans, how well I'm doing. And believe me, it helps you to remember. If you do 20, 30 minutes, pen to paper, writing things down, very, very effective. For me, like last night, for example, I came away highly motivated. It can give you a lift. It can give you a boost. Highly recommend pen to paper. And of course, as I said, in your early days of recovery, there's going to be times where you're potentially screaming to use. So there are lots of exercises you can do, like cross-benefit analysis, pros and cons list, lots of great stuff. So I personally think pen to paper is a very effective method. It's going to help you certainly in the early days, okay? Take full advantage of it. Get writing, get journaling. For me personally, this has actually turned into a hobby. I write a lot now. I really enjoy writing. I keep a Spanish journal. I study Spanish, been studying it for years. I keep an addiction journal. I do a Spanish journal, and I do my gratitude list every day. Very effective method. This is something you would learn in counselling and therapy. So I'm relaying this to you. Highly recommend it, guys. Pen to paper. Number 4. Hey guys, so the 5th thing I did in this lifestyle I created is fitness and exercise. Now, we all know the benefits of fitness and exercise, but as an addict, especially if you're someone who's never exercised before, now I've always exercised, but I used it more and more during this process. This is very, very important. But as an addict, guys, it's very important to start getting discipline and routine into your lifestyle. Again, especially in your early stages, okay? Fitness and exercise is going to help to implement that, okay? As an addict, guys, I'm speaking on personally from me, there is no order in your life. My life was chaos as an addict. Fitness and exercise, joining a gym, getting some routine is going to help you in other areas in life, okay? So I highly recommend fitness and exercise. Now, there are many other benefits to fitness and exercise, as we all know. Feel good, get fit, look better, be healthier. It's going to help you create a positive mindset. You're going to be surrounding yourself with people who are positive as well. It's going to help you release natural endorphins, very, very important. Help to elevate your mood. Now, especially in your early days of recovery, it's very, very important to keep your mood elevated where possible, okay? And fitness and exercise is going to help you to do that, okay? It's going to help stimulate your mind. So I would highly recommend fitness and exercise. You don't have to join a gym at all. It's just about picking something you can do. Maybe running, maybe walking, tennis, pick any sport. Of course, if you can join a gym, I would probably say that's the greatest thing to do. Lots of fitness classes, stuff like this. Get exercising. Believe me, when I started training, it changed my life completely. It's my number one hobby now. If you were to take that away from me, I don't know what would happen, to be perfectly honest. That is my release. It's what I do nearly daily. I spend a good amount of money on fitness and exercise. It's a complete lifestyle for me. So I would highly recommend fitness and exercise. There is one misconception I would like to address now, which is fitness and exercise alone is not going to keep you sober if you are addicted. Now, I know this, many other people know this who I've been with over the years. Once you try to stop, there is always high levels of motivation to start with, especially when you're like, right, I'm going to the gym, I'm going to reset myself. This will only last for so long, okay? I did this for years, I know it firsthand, okay? This will last for a few weeks, but it's going to drop off. Guys, if you're addicted to something, it's going to catch back up with you unless you do the other work, okay? Fitness is a part of the recovery process. It's a huge part of the recovery process. But fitness alone, it's unlikely it's going to keep you sober. You cannot hide in the gym all day. You cannot train all day. There's going to be other areas in life where you're going to be exposed, okay? So I just wanted to make that point perfectly clear for people, okay? Fitness is part of the puzzle and a big part of the puzzle. So you get the picture, okay? Two counselling sessions per week, 2 smart recovery meetings per week. We are reading, we are writing, we are studying, we are working, we are going to the gym, we are sleeping, and many more things, okay? Now, I did this approach for several months. I became obsessed with it. I really wanted to get stuck in. There was no way I was letting this stuff control the rest of my life, okay? Complete immersion style worked for me. If you can pick 1 or 2 of these things and apply it to your life, hopefully that will help you, okay? But to be clear, guys, none of this is going to work unless you are highly, highly motivated, driven, and you really, really want to change, okay? You cannot go into recovery, sobriety half-hearted. I've met so many people over the years who want to stop and they're like, yeah, well, this is coming up or I've got a holiday. They know what they're going to do at that event. They're going to take drugs. So you're setting yourself up to fail. You need to want it extremely badly. Like literally. You need to be like, that is it. This is it. This is now my lifestyle. I'm sick to death of it. I'm going to start doing counselling. I'm going to do whatever it takes to get sober. This is what you need to be. This is the mindset you need. I cannot be any more clearer with you on this, okay? It's 100% or nothing, okay? Otherwise, you're going to fail. That is the truth. Even with this whole immersion lifestyle for me, the counselling, the therapy, the fitness, the meetings, constantly in tune with it, I still had extremely difficult moments, okay? And I just want to point a couple of things out for you. It may help you. Now, some of the times at the start for me, I was screaming to use. I suffered with chronic cravings, as I've mentioned in my story. Now, some of the things I did to help me through these periods, I had an adult colouring book you can buy on Amazon, still have it in my drawer. Adult colouring book, whole box of pencils, and I would have times, low times, where I would just sit at this desk on a Friday night and would literally get my colouring book out and just colour. It's highly detailed colouring in book for adults, and I would spend 2 or 3 hours until these urges passed and I felt okay again to put it away. This is what I needed to do, guys. You need to do whatever it takes. So I had an adult colouring book to help me. Well, I learned this from counselling. I also done lots of exercises I mentioned, cross-benefit analysis, quick 20 minutes, pros and cons list. This helps to pass the urge as well. And I even had a safe for my phone. I would have times where I would be itching to use. I know it's there and I'm doing everything I can to avoid it, to get through it. So I had a safe with a code on. I'd put my phone in the safe, lock it, give it to my mum, but I'd take the phone for 12 hours. It's locked for 12 hours. These are the types of things and methods I had to go through. Okay, now you may need to go through this, you may not. But guys, for me, I just want to show you the level of commitment it takes to get sober. You need to do whatever it takes. Now, at the start of your sobriety journey, you're probably going to have to go through some pain mentally. You're going to have to go through urges. You're going to have to go through cravings. It's not going to be easy. You need to ride it out. I had to do this, okay? It's not nice. It's about remembering the goal, the reasons, and remember it's temporary. Cravings are temporary. Feeling low is temporary, generally, especially in addiction, okay? It will pass. In a few hours, you feel okay again, or the next morning. There was times for me, I just want to share a quick story with you. I once worked in Amazon through COVID. I had a horrendous craving. It's one of the worst I had. I was in full scale, right, I'm getting it. It was full on in my head. I need it now, I want it. Managed to go through the craving. On the way home in my car, I literally undone the window. I was like, fuck you, craving. You're not having me. Fuck you, drugs. Like a sense of relief. It's like, wow, I managed to get through it. Once you get through it, you're like, thank God for that. Because the alternative does not worth thinking about. As I've mentioned, once I start, I don't stop. 3, 4, 5, 6 days later, you're still going. Once you go through it once, you're like, wow, I've gone through it. You can get through it, okay? Now, after you suffer with cravings, as I mentioned in my story, you have extremely low moments. There was times after cravings, I would literally cry myself to sleep. I would come home, be in such a low mood. And that is your brain's way. You have not responded to giving your brain what it wants. It wants the hit of the dopamine from the cocaine. Once you don't respond to that, it generally puts you in a low state. I had several of these. But guys, once you go through this, these cravings, they subside, the urges subside, okay? So the final thing I want to say is, guys, these are some of the things I did, created this whole lifestyle of recovery. This is what you need to do. You need to get serious. You need to concentrate. You need to do whatever it takes to get your life back, okay? Don't be afraid to go sober. And let me say this, guys, once you have gone through the first few months, whatever it may be, you are literally getting your life back. For me now, and for you, it will be the same. Once you're through it, it's like having a blank canvas. You can literally reinvent yourself. Life is good again. You can think what you want to do. You can get excited, start traveling. I've started traveling. I could never, ever do it before. I could not hold down money. I couldn't hold down my job. I couldn't save money. You can start traveling, get excited again. I'm very excited about life. I've got lots of good things going on, potentially going to move to Spain, something I've wanted for many, many years. I'm now this close, really enjoying my job. And guys, it's all because of my recovery. This is it. Without sobriety, nothing is possible as an addict, okay? So guys, I'm going to wrap this video up. I hope some of these things help you. If anyone needs to reach out to me, questions, advice, please feel free to do so. I want to help as many people as I can. If I can help one person, guys, this is literally saving people's lives. This is a serious subject. I do not want you to waste your life. I wasted many years. If I can help you not to waste some of yours, fantastic thing to do, okay? So remember, guys, sobriety is priority. Without sobriety, nothing is possible. I'll see you in the next one.